Welcome back to the Stretford Saffas. Today we've got a transfer roundup for you. So 3 in, 3 out. Here we go. Guys, everyone, welcome to our first transfer roundup, Stretford Saffas. As I previously discussed, we'll be doing a 3 in, 3 out, starting with Mr. Jackson. Who's the first player you would choose to join the club?
Right, so the first player I'm going to pick, someone we've been heavily linked with over the last few weeks, Harry Slabhead Maguire, the one and only. Listen, I think we all know centre half is the biggest priority for the club at the moment, especially with Bailly getting injured, leaving on crutches. He could be out for months. I think it's clear we need a centre half. I think what Maguire will add is, he adds everything. He's, first of all, a great ball playing centre half, which is very important for Ollie's system. It will take pressure off the midfielders. He's a great threat in both boxes, defending set pieces as well as maybe adding a goal threat or two. He's an England international. He usually doesn't get injured, touch wood, don't want to speak too soon. But I just think, listen, he's a bit expensive, but in this market, you have to pay for the right players. Ollie wants him, back the guy, and go get him. He's the centre-back I want, in my opinion.
Tough to argue with that. 80 to 90 million pounds might be questionable, but let's move on. Singer, who's your second or your first pick, I should say?
My first pick, I'll do both. My first pick, I'd have to agree about Harry Maguire. I know he's a bit expensive, but you look at Liverpool spending 75 mil on Van Dijk 18 months ago, and it was said that it was too expensive. He's completely changed them. Second of all, we've got a youngster, Tuanzebe, who's going to be unbelievable, but you want him learning from the right players. You don't want him to be learning from Jones and Smalling and Rojo. So, yeah. Smaldini, the boy. Okay, so I'd go Maguire.
I think we can all agree there. My first pick would have to be Maguire too. Just thinking now as well. Van Dijk's probably worth over 150, so maybe paying 80 million isn't that bad.
Exactly.
All right. Harry Maguire, first in, all agreed. Mr. Singer, let's hear who's your second choice.
Singer.
So definitely we've got to look in the midfield, but I do really like Bruno, but I'm going to have to go for a slightly more defensive-minded player in Sean Longstaff, as we do have options who can play more attacking midfield. There's Pogba, there's Pereira, there's Macha, there's Lingard, there's Angel Gomez. Yeah, so there's Maguire who's been. Not Maguire, there's Longstaff, he's only played a little bit in the Premier League, but he's a great player. Reminds me of a bit of a Carrick. He takes 2 touches, can play in between the lines, got a great range. So for me, Sean Longstaff. Not for 50 million, though. Max 30, in my opinion.
I was going to say, that price tag is a little bit hefty for a player with nine Premier League starts to his name. It's a bit risky.
Mike Ashley getting a bit too big for his boots there. 50 million. Take off. Take off.
I think Ashley's a little bit sad about Rafa choosing money over Newcastle.
Fuck Mark Ashley. He's as bad as the Glazers.
I would not go that far. Darcy Glazer's just taken another loan. Okay, Sean Longstaff, interesting pick. Definitely a prospect in the Premier League. Definitely has some traits. It was just last season that Pep Guardiola had him in very high praise. So, a lot of excitement around the player. Mr. Jackson, your second pick?
I think it's very clear we need to not only replace under Herrera, but we needed another midfielder before Herrera left. So, for me, the guy we've been linked to, who I really, really fancy, is a great transfer for us, Bruno Fernandes. Portuguese international, goal scorer, assist maker, works his socks off. He likes to press, so he'll suit Ollie's system. I think it's clear Ollie wants to play a 4-2-3-1 with Pogba a little bit deeper. So I think Mata, Lingard, yes, these guys are good footballers, but for me, they're squad players. I think we need someone to come in right now, almost that Bernardo Silva effect, which he had on City. Bruno Fernandes will come in. He'll take the pressure off Pogba. He'll feed the likes of Rashford, Martial. Yes, there's maybe a bit of doubt. Can he adjust to the Premier League? But listen, you got to take a punt sometimes. For 50, 60 million, Portuguese international, that would be my second pick.
100%. He scored 32 goals for club and country last season. He's clearly there's a player there, so it's definitely worth tackling. 100%. I think we can all agree.
Yeah. No,
I'm going to throw an interesting name into the ring, not one that's been discussed lately, but a player that I really fancy. I don't think this season might be the right time, but Declan Rice for me is the ideal man to come in and take over from Nemanja Matic, who, look, the squad may not have been as fit as they should have been last year, but it does seem as though he's kind of reaching the end. I mean,
100% agree, but he's just unattainable right now. So
yeah, I definitely like that pick. I think for next season we'll have a fat go at Declan Rice to replace Matic, but I just think for now, go spend 60 million is probably not a priority. But I do like that.
Sure. Look, I think we're going. We could be in for 100 million for Declan next year, but it could be well worth it. Could be well worth it.
Yeah.
Right. So that rounds up number 2. Mr. Singer, take us away. Who's your third pick?
Okay, so it might be a bit of a midfield overload, but I'm all for building from the back forward. So in that case, I would like Bruno Fernandes to come in and just a bit of X factor in that midfield. He's a proven goal scorer for midfield, alleviate pressure of Pogba. I'm not going to go into too much because my reasoning's the same as what Jackson said, so I don't want to bore you guys. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes would be my third pick.
Interesting. Again, tough to argue. Jackson, who's your third pick?
Right. So my third pick is a little bit of a left field pick. I'm going to throw Moussa Dembele into the hat. The French forward, under 21 international, quality forward, plays for Lyon. I think we have been linked with him over the summer on and off for 35, 40 million. I think with all the Lukaku links, going to Inter Milan and Juventus, I just think to bring a guy in like that with huge potential, he's going to work hard. He presses from the front. He can play in a front two alongside Rashford. He can play off the bench as an impact player for that price. In this market, I think he's definitely worth a punt. If you sell Lukaku for 70 million, bring him in for 40 million, I think that's pretty good business.
I agree with you there. In fact, Dembele was my third pick as well, without wasting any further time. I definitely think the young French forward could bring a lot. He's more of a sort of nimble forward, I mean, I'm sure you guys saw as well, just a few minutes ago, Lukaku's actually posted a picture with his agent with some sort of elusive cap.
That's all.
He's on the move. Get those demands on, boy. Manchester Airport's waiting for you.
Been real. Thanks for the goals, but cheers. All right. So, guys, our 3 ins are done. Now, arguably an even more important factor. Who's your 3 outs? Singer, let's hear it. Who's your first pick?
Glazer 1, Glazer 2, and Woodward, please. No, but on a serious note, Matteo Darmian, that guy's just got to go. He's useless.
He's still playing for the club.
You look at guys like Smalling, and they can play like 1 every 20, and it's like fine, but Darmian doesn't even play 1 every 64. He's useless. He's the only Italian to ever play football who can't defend 1v1. It just doesn't make sense. So that Darmian's my pick.
Definitely, without really going into it much, I feel like all 3 of us have definitely chosen Darmian. One of our picks.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah. So let's jump straight ahead, Mr. Jackson. Who's your second exit?
My second pick, some know him as Sir Philip Jones, otherwise known as one of the greatest centre-halves English has ever produced. Listen, he's a talented footballer, but just not for a club like Manchester United.
Damn.
I think
cheap.
I think Jones is a talented defender, but the problem with him is he can't stay fit. He would do a great job next to Lewis Dunk at Brighton Hove Albion. I think that's his standard.
I agree.
Listen, I've seen enough of. Listen, that's one of Sir Alex's mistakes. He could afford a few. Listen, he made a lot of right decisions, but let's be real. Phil Jones ain't no Rio, he ain't no Vidic, but he certainly will do a good job for a Premier League team.
Look, as much as I agree with you, I personally believe that Jonesy will have a statue outside Old Trafford, and he'll be buried on the pitch. I mean, at this rate,
he'll get a 10-year contract. You'll get a 10-year contract at the end of the season.
Woodward sitting in the London offices writing Jones and Smalling's new contract. This is why we haven't signed it.
Just waiting for one massive fuck up from either of them, and they're getting last on contract.
That's it.
For sure. Wow, guys, it seems that we have a lot in common in terms of our thoughts. So, Singer, without further ado, let's hear your final pick. Let's hear it.
My final pick. Look, the guy's a good player. He's a proven goal scorer, but if he doesn't want to be, I can fuck right off. So, Romelu Lukaku. If you don't want to be, he can go. He's good, and he's got a great Premier League goal record, and he's Belgium's all-time scorer, playing with Wizards behind him. But end of the day, if you don't want to be playing for the biggest club in world football, you can.
For sure, and I mean, as much as he's a proven goal scorer, it has to be said that his record against top opposition isn't that favourable. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Jackson, anything
Right.
different?
The last pick, I don't know if you guys will agree on this. The Argentine assassin, Marcus Rojo. I think his time's up. We've got about 38. We've got about 38 centre halves on our books. You know, I think we can send him off to Boca Juniors. He can go play centre half there in his home nation. But listen, that Oaks time's up. Thanks for your service. You know, he was a warrior at times. He was very good under Van Gaal. He was good under Van Gaal at some periods. But thanks for the memory.
Wears his heart on his sleeve and he really gives his all, but he's just simply not good enough.
He's not good enough. Exactly. We need quality.
It's tough to argue any of those. I'm going to throw a name into the ring that we may all agree on, but I think we've all forgotten, and that's our little Chilean, Alexis Sanchez. That boy needs to fight.
I genuinely forgot about it.
I mean, the guy's been earning £400,000 a week and he hasn't played a game yet. It's crazy.
Listen. I mean, you know, I thought. Listen, at the beginning, when we signed Sanchez, you know, he was an absolute world beater. So for no transfer fee to pay him those wages made sense. But at the moment, the Oaks either in the hospital or he's shagging his dog. So for me, it's just I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that.
All right.
The problem is who's going to take him? Who's going to take him?
That's the question. I think it's safe to say the only stumbling block is the fact that no one else is dumb enough to fucking pay his wages.
Except for Mr. Woodward. Give him a new contract, put him on 500 a week. Why not?
Rumor has it Sanchez getting a 5-year extension for his wonderful work past 18 months.
Jesus.
Oh, shit. Nah. That hasn't worked out. Hasn't worked out.
Not at all. Look, maybe we can have a bit of redemption, but unlikely. But let's be optimistic. But
Mason Greenwood, boy.
Mason Greenwood, up and coming. Tommy Chong. Ooh, I call him Tommy Chong because there's a guy named Tommy Chong. Don't worry.
Talking of his academy lab, there's exciting stuff coming in the next few weeks about their progress and what we think.
An academy progress update. A lot of talent coming through. A lot.
100%.
Guys, thank you for your contributions this evening. As usual, it's been a pleasure. And thank you to everyone else for tuning in. As usual, this has been the Stretford Saffas, and we'll be back soon with...
That the way. Tell me how good
does it feel? We got Sanchez, Paul Pogba and Fred. Marcus Rashford is man born and bred. Come on, boys.
Now, arguably an even more important factor. Who's your 3 outs? Singer, let's hear it. Who's your first pick?
Glazer 1, Glazer 2, and Woodward. Please. No.